Hello everyone, my name's Tanya the Ghoul, and today I'm going to be talking about public domain alternatives for the video game franchise Doom. First off, we have Spacehawk from Target Comics. This guy is the closest thing you're going to get to the Doom Marine. Like, he looks like the Doom Marine, he uses different types of weapons like the Doom Marine, he even takes out, like, interdimensional threats and creatures from different planets and galaxies. Although, yes, his personality's a little different, you can make him more like a badass, cheesy action hero, if you so please, like in the first two games. Or you can make him more like a silent, stoic hero like 2016 and Eternal. Next up, we have Buck Rogers, which, you know, a little bit of a step down from accuracy when it comes to the whole Doom guy look. But, you know, you can still use him as a guy who fights interdimensional demons and extraterrestrial threats. So, still works. And then we have Iron Mask, which, a villain, but you can make him a hero or an anti-hero in this case. Fighting off demons and creatures from different galaxies, you know, trying to destroy the world, you know. And next we got the Space Busters, which I thought would be a really cool alternative due to how similar they look and act like the Doom Marine, you know? They have the similar design, they use similar types of weapons, and there's similar goals as well. That is to wipe out extraterrestrial threats with laser weapons. And then we got the original badass who's a human that was sent to Mars, that being John Carter. This guy, you know, from the Barsoom series, could definitely work. You know, he's got the physique, he's got the look, he's got the attitude, you know, just give him a gun and boom, you're perfect. Next up, we have the Nyctalope, who could work as a Samuel Hayden stand-in too, if you wanted to have your version of Samuel Hayden from Doom 2016 and Eternal. Next off, we have characters from mythology like Archangel Michael, Heracles, Tyr, and Hachiman. And put those motherfuckers in the... Next off, we have fictional characters like Beowulf, Popeye, Ben from Night of the Living Dead, as well as many others in the public domain that are free for you to use. For your demonic threats, you can use the many demons from Dante's Inferno, the very popular poem that was against the church's teachings and against Christianity that somehow got integrated into the Bible. So the idea of hell being fire and brimstone and having 7 levels and 7 deadly sins, that came from Dante's Inferno, a weird fan fiction. Not an actual part of the Bible, but fan fiction. So the idea of hell, as we know it right now, does not actually exist. You know, there was a place called Sheol, but, you know, that was in Jewish mythology, and we're not going to get too much into this, but yeah. So, you can use the many creatures from Dante's Inferno. Next off, we have the demons from the Bible, which were more fallen angels than anything, but you could still use them as enemies if you so please. Next off, we have the demons from different mythologies, or rather, the deities that are poorly classified as demons, even though they weren't ever really demonic. You know, you have the Ifrits from Islam, you have the yokai from Japanese mythology, you have the Fomorians from Irish mythology, so on and so forth, you know. Next off, we have the Silly Symphonies Walt Disney short, Hell's Bells. You could use all the demonic creatures and beings in that, like the imps, Lucifer or Satan, I guess it's interchangeable in this, Cerberus, Hell Spiders, Hell Alligators, Hell Cows, Hell Bats, you know, all that. You can use all that for your Doom-like setting, if you so please. For alternatives to the Spider Mastermind, you can use the many demonic spider-like creatures from mythology. For the Cyber Demon, you could just make a cybernetic minotaur, as long as you make it legally distinct enough to be its own thing. Or you could just use the regular minotaur, your choice. For the Icon of Sin, you can use Baphomet as long as you don't just use the head, but use the whole body. Because if you just use the head, then yeah, you're going to get sued. But if you use the whole body, then you could say, oh no, this is just the Baphomet statue. It's not the Icon of Sin, you know. That way, you won't get sued as easily. For the zombie soldiers, you could just get the zombies, or aka ghouls, from Night of the Living Dead and just give them guns and armor and then just, put them on Mars or Hell if you so please. For the weapons, you can use the general version of the weapons. You got your pistols, shotguns, your machine guns, your bazookas, your chainsaws, brass knuckles. You could do that as long as you don't use the trademarked version of the weapons. Just use the most generic, standardized version of them instead. If you're gonna do plasma weapons, you might as well just do some very generic, very standardized kind of plasma weapons. Don't make them look like the ones from the game. Make sure to make them look distinct enough to be their own thing. You could use like some retro 1960s sci-fi kind of look to them or something like that. Just make them look distinct enough to be their own thing. Do not make them look like the ones from Doom. For the BFG, just give it a different name, like the Giant Flippin' Blaster or the Enormous Destructive Weapon or something like that, just to make it more legally distinct. And don't make it look like a one-for-one to the BFG. Make it look a little different and make the plasma a different color than green. Otherwise, you're good to go. For the Crucible Blade, you can use Excalibur or Beowulf Sword or literally any other kind of mythological sword that's powerful enough to defeat demons and monsters and aliens, And you could make it a laser sword, but make it like a plasma laser sword. And don't make it red. Make it a different color, like green, blue, purple, pink, whatever. Just do not make it red. Do not put little encampments on it. Unless if they're actual Earth encampments, like stuff from Old English. Otherwise, do not put any encampments on that, And give it more abilities so it's not just like for slashing, because that could get you sued as well. But yeah. And finally, for the kick-ass metal music that Doom is best known for, there are no real public domain music or songs that you could really use that are in the metal genre. However, there are royalty-free metal tracks that you can use on YouTube or sound libraries or whatever. They're free to use. And then there's also the public domain songs that you could make into metal tracks, turn like already popular public domain songs, turn them into metal tracks. Or you could also make your own metal tracks too, if you also please. And that will do it for today's video. Those are public domain alternatives for Doom. Is there something you'd want me to add for next time? Do you ever want a part 2 of this? Are there any other video ideas that you'd like me to do? Please let me know in the comments below. And please, please, please follow my Ko-fi page. I could really use all the love and support that I can get. Anyways, that will be all for today's video. I'm Tanya the Ghoul. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.
Now I'm able to pay my cable.